You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Coming in at 195 pounds from Studio A, he is the reigning, defending, undisputed host of the Ring of Thunder, Sexy Thor! Well, Thunderverse, starting off this here episode with some really great news that I've been waiting to hear for about 15 months now. No, wait. I can do math, I swear. Let me think. March. Here I thought it was like June or something. Well, we're almost in June. But yeah, it was actually 14 months. But I mean, at this rate, it might as well be 15 months or 15 years. Because, you know, we all remember how time worked in 2020. But the good news is being that WWE live shows are coming back. Thank goodness. So, how it's going to work, and of course, I guess this news was sort of to be expected after last week when AEW announced its live shows starting to return in July. And guess what? WWE's live shows also start in Texas, just like AEW's. So, coincidence, probably, but we're going to say not. Because also, it's probably not. Who knows? But anyways, they announced this will be a 25-city tour that'll be taking place from mid-July through to Labor Day. What they're going to do after Labor Day, I mean, who the hell knows? Hopefully still continue to tour, but I mean, we'll see. A lot can happen between now and Labor Day. A lot will happen between now and Labor Day, both in general and throughout my personal journey. But yeah, it starts, when is this? Friday, July 16th. Friday Night SmackDown will be at the Toyota Center in Houston. And that will be the go-home show for Money in the Bank, which will be Sunday, July 18th. So we're not even out of May, and we have the pay-per-view dates for the next two pay-per-views. So nice. It'll be at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. And then the Money in the Bank Fallout show, Monday Night Raw, will be Monday, July 19th at American Airlines Center in Dallas. And then I'd been hearing some stuff in like other non-official internets that SummerSlam will be taking place in Nevada. So, I mean, I don't know. I assume Vegas, but I know there's more to Nevada than just Vegas. So that's cool to know that there's could also be a SummerSlam location already ready to go. Even though, you know, just wishing it was State Farm Arena, because, you know, State Farm Arena, Reigns versus Rollins for the Universal Championship main event. You know, that would just, you know, make this Sexy Thor's dreams come true. But whatever, I'm just glad live shows are here in general. And of course, when they announced all that, Adam Pearce tweeted out, you know, where do you want to see us go? And I put Bon Secours Wellness Arena in Greenville, South Carolina, and State Farm Arena in Atlanta. I mean, of course, also take Spectrum Center in Charlotte. I have no aversions to going there. But it's just, I'm in Greenville, so that's close. And then, you know, as you probably have already surmised if you've listened to any number of episodes of this show, I'll gladly find any excuse in the book to go down to Atlanta. Swear to God. So yeah, hopefully WWE comes to Atlanta or somewhere near me, and I can check that little box off of my, 2021 running it back to 2019 / just normalcy in general sort of checklist that I've had going on. So I've already checked off SC Comic Con. I guess watching a WrestleMania on TV with crowds and arenas, and just watching a WrestleMania that feels like a WrestleMania. That definitely ticked that box. And then of course, having gone to 2 movies so far in movie theaters, both of them I've both frequented a lot as a moviegoer and also as a worker. I've now ticked that box, so we're just ticking boxes. And see all those, snarky, pessimistic people who are just like, just because the calendar, or these people act like and the calendar changes to January 1st, 2021, doesn't mean they act like, everything's just going to change and go back to normal and it'll be all great just like that. To which I was like, no, you fucking dopes. I know it's not going to be all great on January 1st, 2021, but getting out of 2020 and the more we progress into 2021, it'll be getting a lot better. And sure fucking enough, here we are. So yeah. And of course, the tickets for the 25-date tour will be going on sale starting this Wednesday. And hopefully they'll announce the rest of the dates by then, maybe. But if they don't, that's okay. I can be patient. Maybe. And so, also another little thing that I wanted to ramble about here before we get on to, stuff that's happened this past week, which is also something that I might want to be getting a little bit into Ring of Thunder, just talking about past matches, which I know is totally a thing that I haven't really done here on Ring of Thunder, that a lot of other podcasts do, that I think How to Talk to Your Friend About Wrestling does better than anybody. It's just, going on about past matches. But of course, the flavor and the different angle that I bring to this is that it's just fucking me rambling about it. I mean, what else do you need? I mean, somebody else also talking to me about it here on the recorded audio word. And, we really brought up when this happened, just hopping on the mics right then and talking about it. And of course, that's what I mean is last Thursday when I was over at Studio D just hanging out, and most of the day was spent with me and Lightning Lad over a bottle of Terramana, trying to catch him up with all the fucking crazy shit that I've been going through over the last couple weeks. And boy, did I really have to take that Terramana down. But, it was Uncle DJ, Uncle Dwayne, Uncle Rock looking out for me. Giving me a warm hug and said, you survived. Now stop putting yourself through that bullshit and, go forward with the strength of the Rock or whatever. See, in Thunderverse kayfabe, Dwayne Johnson is not the actual uncle of Adam Weston, of course. But I am claiming him as the uncle of sexy Thor. Just like Odin is my father. And of course, this is all ironic because he's currently filming as the titular character for a movie called Black Adam. But yeah, I've now, whenever you hear Uncle DJ or Uncle Rock, that's what it is. That's what it's all about. So now that I've officially made that Thunderverse canon, let's move forward with the story. So, Dan and I just hanging out and talking a lot over a bottle of Terramana. Then our friend Scott comes along and we're hanging out and we're playing music, and then somehow we get on the Cult of Personality, which of course makes me go, So, while nobody's paying attention, I put it on the famous CM Punk pipe bomb, and then, they're pretty impressed. like they still think it's fairly scripted, which I don't know, probably will be. But then I showed them the whole exchange between CM Punk and Triple H, leading up to their match at Night of Champions 2011. And then, of course, me just getting a wilder and wilder hair up my ass. And of course, I keep wanting to push the envelope when it's, when it comes to talking about wrestling and exposing other people about wrestling and just being like, understand this. I turn on Peacock, which turns out it's been on my account all along because I did log into Peacock, I guess, the last time I was there. And then, yeah, we actually watched Triple H versus CM Punk at Night of Champions 2011, which, oh man, I'm not even sure what date that fell under, but if it's usually like around the time that, Clash of Champions nowadays falls under, which is like September, October, then, yeah, then all this shit happened about the time that I had my first go around with Haunt season. So, all sorts of important things coming together here. So we watched CM Punk versus Triple H at Night of Champions 2011, and it was, of course, a badass match. It was, hello, CM Punk, Triple H. And then I didn't expect this, and this is my first time watching the match too, by the way. But I just, I just have feelings, and I just expose people to shit that I've never even seen. And then fucking The Miz and R-Truth run in and beat the shit out of both guys. And then, yeah, Kevin Nash runs in and chases Miz and R-Truth off, I think. Now I'm kind of fuzzy on it. But hey, if you've seen Night of Champions 2011 and want to talk about this, yeah, let me know. And then, of course, I think, yeah, John Laurinaitis came out, and what the fuck did he do? Did he get security or anything? I'm trying to recollect this, or recollect something I've watched while also kind of drunk on Terramana. So this is going to be a bit hazy. But yeah, I do remember eventually Triple H ending up winning that. Of course, for some reason, it was a non-title match, too. It's like, which is a weird thing for Night of Champions, but whatever. And I think, no. Oh, I was just thinking because I was watching Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns in a steel cage match in 2016. And they had mentioned that this was right before Clash of Champions 2016, where KO was defending the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins, and Roman was going after Rusev and the United States Championship. And they were just like, yeah, the Raw exclusive Clash of Champions, which I really want to get into because I'm just like, how short is that pay-per-view then? Because that's supposed to be like every championship on the line, and it's like, usually, from what I've seen, nothing but championship matches. Of course, Triple H versus CM Punk at Night of Champions, like, not being on the line, that was very weird to me, so I don't know how normal that usually is, but yeah, might have to do an episode strictly about me doing research about Night of Champions / Clash of Champions and the whole history and everything behind that. Because, yeah, if it's a Raw exclusive Clash of Champions, that means the Universal Championship would be on the line, of course. The United States Championship on the line. The Raw Women's Championship. And the Raw Tag Team Championship. So I really need to look at this card because I was just like, okay, so they either had just 4 matches on the card, which, I mean, considering everybody involved, and yeah, I'm pretty sure Charlotte was Raw Women's Champion at the time. Like, I mean, those are fucking 4 bangers of matches potentially. I'm just like, did they have like non-title matches to help fill out the card or what? So I'll eventually do some digging on this, let you know what I find out. Or if you're someone who's seen Clash of Champions 2016, let me know what it's all about. I would absolutely like to learn from you. So that's pretty much all. And then, of course, seeing The Miz in there, I had to show Scott and Dan the whole WrestleMania Backlash, Damian Priest versus The Miz fucking zombies lumberjack match. Which, by the way, on Raw last week, Damian Priest and John Morrison had a lumberjack match the night after that zombie lumberjack match. And they were all just regular lumberjacks. They didn't get like actual lumberjacks, but they got like, undercard people. You saw Viking Raiders, you saw Mustafa Ali, you saw Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin, who kind of helped push their rivalry during that whole match. And you also saw Nikki Cross there, so that was pretty cool to see her there amongst the men. Which, if you've seen Nikki Cross and you know what Nikki Cross is all about, she can definitely kick ass in that sort of environment. So anyways, I just went completely left and right with the whole Clash of Champions thing, but I figure I'd just tell you that. Yeah. Pretty sure Dan's a CM Punk fan now, so there you go. Any CM Punk fans in the house, you hit up thundertalkpodcast at gmail.com or find us on the socials and be like, yeah, Dan, I also stand with the voice of the voiceless, and let them know. But anyways, it'll be commercial time, and then we'll get on to some of the stuff that happened last week.
Great things are coming on the Nerd Bliss podcast. We're changing up our presentation while keeping the candidness that you enjoy. We'll cover all your favorite shows and movies, with maybe a few surprises along the way. And you, yes you, will have opportunities to be on our show on a regular basis. That's right, we've got the Zoom Pro account, and we're going to use it. So be ready. Find us at nerdblisspodcast.com and esonetwork.com, and on all the socials at NerdBlissPod. Nerd Bliss. Listen up.
My name is Mark McCray, and I'm the author of The Best Saturdays of Our Lives.
I'm Dan Klink, co-host of the Best Saturdays of Our Lives podcast.
The Best Saturdays of Our Lives features programming trends from the 1966 television season all the way through the last hurrah of the early digital age of the 1990s.
On the show, if it's animated, we talk about it.
Order your signed copy today at tbsool.com
and listen to the podcast at esonetwork.com and all podcast platforms.
Hello. Have you ever wondered how much Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster sold Superman's rights to DC for? Or which popular football star was the Sam Wilson the Falcons' physical appearance based on? You can find all that and more at the History of Comic Books podcast, a podcast dedicated to the creators, events, history, and the companies that made the great comic book medium. Hosted and created by your friendly neighborhood JT Wheatley. Please give it a listen at iTunes, Spreaker, Stitcher, and all our podcasting platforms. Thank you, and go ahead and enjoy yourself a good comic book.
Hey guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
It's Amanda Bones.
And I'm Ashley.
Of How to Talk to Your Friend About Wrestling, the podcast on the Count Out Wrestling Podcast Network, a weekly show where we talk about all of our favorite things, babes, blood, and brutality.
We also talk about other fun things, like is Kenny Omega finally too tan? And how much blood is too much blood? Because that looks like way too much blood.
So join us on the adventure of teaching me, Amanda Bones, about wrestling.
Look, we gotta talk.
Yeah, Thunder Talk.
We're going all kinds of sideways with that sweet nerd junk.
Woke nerd junk.
It's topical,
Political.
Dare I say radical.
We've got all your latest news and reviews.
Hot music.
And a whole lot of comedy.
but it ain't for kids.
Definitely mature content.
So let's talk.
Let's talk Thunder Talk.
Thunder Talk is a proud member of the ESO network. So something I learned about myself this past week, Monday specifically, was that it doesn't matter if it's a lead up to WrestleMania / specifically happening at Elimination Chamber or all that to get me stoked about Kofi Kingston being near the WWE Championship. It can happen at any time, apparently. It can happen during this lead up to Hell in a Cell. It can happen at Clash of Champions. Could happen if they ever bring back Stomping Grounds. Oh, please don't. You have Kofi sniffing around the WWE Championship picture, and I am completely game for that. Much in the same way that you have, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in each other's orbit again, no matter what characters they are, no matter what show they're on. I'm going to be excited. So, Kofi had a match with Randy Orton after Riddle tried to get them to, make peace with each other. Them being the New Day and Randy Orton after the previous week, Randy RKO'd both Woods and Kofi. And instead, it kind of exploded into Kofi versus Randy having a match. And Kofi beat Randy. But that's not all. I mean, that would have been big enough. That would have been a very awesome thing to just see that. But now they doubled down on it, because in the main event was Bobby Lashley doing an open challenge, inviting anyone in the locker room not named Drew McIntyre or Braun Strowman to come and face him, which everybody thought it was for the WWE Championship until MVP was like, oh, wait, no, we didn't say it was the WWE Championship. But they didn't say this until Kofi showed up. So Kofi showed up, and even though he kind of got screwed because he didn't say it was for the WWE Championship, he and Bobby fought, and Bobby savagely got him at first. And we were all just like, oh no, having flashbacks to fucking Kofi versus Brock a year and a half ago. But no. Xavier Woods was distracting the ref or trying to point out something, and the ref's back was turned, and MVP almost hit Kofi in the face with his cane, but then Drew McIntyre came out of nowhere and snatched that cane out of MVP's hand, and he hit Bobby in the head with it. And then Kofi got him with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. You know the one, the surprise roll-up. And yeah, Kofi Kingston pinned the WWE champion, which I don't think has actually happened since Drew and Bobby faced off for the WWE championship at Backlash 2020. I don't think Bobby has not been pinned at all since at least then. So that was a big, huge deal. And Drew and the New Day were just celebrating and walking away, and that's what ended Raw. So yeah, tonight should be very interesting to see where all that goes. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Kofi's going to be winning the WWE Championship anytime soon, but this is definitely a nice way to, start building towards Bobby and Drew at Hell in a Cell again. Oh, but of course, tonight, Xavier Woods and Riddle are set to face off because after Kofi beat Randy and Randy walked away all pissed, and Xavier was just trying to talk to Riddle, Riddle pushed him down. So it's interesting because I never occurred to me that Riddle could ever be a heel, but it'll be interesting to see if he evolves into one or just kind of dabbles. And then we had an Alexa's Playground with her first guest that she was interviewing in this format, Natalya and Tamina, and I mean, not really anything but a whole lot of weirdness happened. And then later on, Natalya and Tamina defeated Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in a rematch for the Women's Tag Team Championship, thanks to Alexa showing up and causing flames to shoot out of a ring post right before Reginald was set to interfere. So Reginald is now blind. So R.I.P. Reginald's sight. Now he can't see the wine or where to pour the wine. So his career as a sommelier might have hit a bit of a snag. But Nia and Shayna did get their win back on SmackDown. So, of course, there's going to be a rematch for the championship tonight on Raw. And then, thank goodness, Asuka actually beat Charlotte thanks to Rhea Ripley's interference. Was real worried there. Then on NXT, if you could believe it, Ted DiBiase distracted Cameron Grimes and caused him to lose to Jake Atlas. So Grimes and DiBiase will be having $1 million face-off, I think it's called, on Tuesdays. And that should eventually lead to the return of the $1 million belt. And Killian Dane defeated Alexander Wolf because Wolf hesitated to use a chair on his former Sanity brother, which caused Dane to use his crossbody to get the pin. And Eichner and Bartel beat the shit out of Wolf and kicked him out of Imperium. And that's actually because Alexander Wolf is actually set to leave WWE once his contract is out next month. But speaking of Sanity and their former members, because we've already talked about Wolf, Dane, and Nikki Cross, Eric Young's old group, Violent by Design, over on Impact, specifically Rhino and Joe Doring, are actually Impact Tag Team Champions now. Because the main event of Impact was Finn Juice defeating Ace Austin and Badman Fulton, who won their opportunity at Under Siege. And then Violent by Design showed up and reminded us, yeah, Rhino won that Call Your Shot gauntlet. And like he and Heath were originally going to use it, but Heath got injured and then Rhino joined Violent by Design. So Rhino used the Call Your Shot, which is basically a money in the bank thing in the form of a trophy and a verbal, hey, I'm doing this. So Rhino and Joe Doring pretty much destroyed Finn Juice and are now the Impact World Tag Team Champions. So lots of stuff going on with the old former Sanity peoples. And Legado del Fantasma defeated Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher and will face MSK for the NXT Tag Team Championship on June 1st, while Ciampa and Thatcher now have a bone to pick with grizzled young veterans who attack them after the match. And now we are on the verge this week of getting Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross 2 on live TV. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And they showed how they did that Prime Target video package for them, and it was awesome, of course. And Bobby Fish is going to be facing Pete Dunne this week after, once again saying, hey, I've got some payback to dish out to the old Pete Dunne and Oney Lorcan. So let me do it. And then Pete Dunne just had a regular interviewer where he's just like, yeah, I'm awesome. I have a mix of styles and I can pretty much destroy anybody. It was just a regular interviewer and no shenanigans at all. I was very surprised. And then in the main event, Bronson Reed defeated Johnny Gargano in a steel cage despite Austin Theory trying to constantly interfere from the outside, and Reed is the new NXT North American champion. So let's hear it for Australia really representing WWE championships here, because now Bronson Reed's the North American champion, Rhea Ripley is Raw Women's champion, Indy Hartwell is one half of the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. And also while she and Candice were getting a massage last week, she found out that Candice had actually bought those flowers for Shotzi and Ember and said they were from Dexter. So Indy's like, she went from being over Dexter to being like, oh my God, he still loves me. So Index is still on, people. Index is still on. Then on Dynamite, the Young Bucks defeated Varsity Blondes with the help of some cold spray to the eyes. Ouch. And Varsity Blondes are now legit varsity because not only do Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison have their own Letterman jackets, but they also have a new addition in the form of Julia Hart, who is an actual two-time cheerleading national champion and a pro wrestler who goes to the Nightmare Factory school that Cody and QT Marshall still, I believe, actually run together. It's not the whole kayfabe, the Factory versus the Nightmare Family. This was her first appearance on Dynamite, but she's had some matches on AEW Dark before. I really need to go back and start watching that again, along with Elevation, so I don't get confused like that whether it's wrestling or the MCU or whatever property I claim to be so fanatical about, I used to pride myself on being immersed in all the side shit too, so that when something happened in the main shit, I was already ahead of the curb. I mean, get it together, sexy Thor. Jesus. The Bucks, the Young Bucks, will now be facing Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston, who also just straight up murdered the Acclaimed after Max Caster rapped to the ring a very suggestive line about Moxley's wife, Renee Paquette's podcast, Oral Sessions. I think even if you haven't heard the rap, which you totally should go out of the way to listen, especially because Caster's like making it his own each and every week, and it's like becoming less John Cena-esque and becoming more his own. Yeah, I think even without watching the thing and knowing he was rapping about the Oral Sessions podcast, you can kind of gather the direction he was going in. And then no amazing promos that would also upset the part of the internet that just wants to be upset from Cody Rhodes. He was just in Austin Gunn's corner as Anthony Ogogo just straight schmurdered Gunn. Us Cody fans are going to have to witness some ugliness on Sunday. But I know it's so Cody can get ready for the birth of his child and film Rhodes to the top, so I'm ready. I got through it with Seth last November. We're going to do it again and say Godspeed to Cody next episode. We're also getting Miro versus Lance Archer, who had another face-off and promo where Miro was saying that Jake the Snake was just holding back Lance because Lance wanted him to. So Miro and Lance Archer for the TNT Championship, and Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page at Double or Nothing. And this is actually not going to be a cinematic match. Sting will actually be performing in ring, so should be very nice to watch. And on SmackDown, Sonya Deville had the Mysterios, Bianca Belair, Apollo Crews, and Commander Aziz, and Natalya and Tamina representing SmackDown's champions as she talked about the live shows returning. And then she introduced Roman Reigns afterwards, and his old music came out, which brought about all sorts of conflicting feelings, like when you're a couple weeks settled and happy into your new relationship, and then one of your most major exes strolls into work for a minute and sends a shock to your system. And God, why did I just make that comparison? Come on, sexy Thor. I need you to go back to that borderline asexual way you did talks and things back in 2019 when you didn't care about any of that shit. God, I miss being the old guy at work. I was on the outside looking in, and I just looked at the young'un floor staff problems and just kind of laughed and shook my head. But where I'm at now is necessary to have this year still go as planned. So anyway, the Shield theme played, and then Paul Heyman came out and said the tribal chief comes out when he wants to, and he'll be out later to address everyone. He did in a tracksuit that I would really like to purchase, and kudos for doubling down on the mob boss persona in said suit. Also, this time he came out to his current theme, and all was right in the world in my head. That's rare when that happens. He wanted Jimmy Uso to come out so they could further address things and get Jimmy to fall in line and acknowledge him, but instead Cesaro came out with his arm in a sling and challenged Roman to a rematch at Hell in a Cell, while Roman was pondering why the hell he would ever want to do that. Seth Rollins attacked Cesaro again and broke through security to eventually give him a curb stomp. Oh, Seth, always being so wily and shit. All the while this was happening, Jimmy went to Sonya Deville and got a match made for next week, with the Usos getting back together in tag action for the first time in well over a year against the Street Profits. Jay was super hesitant about doing this without consulting Roman, and when he went to Roman to tell him, Roman whispered something in his ear, so we'll see what shit goes down when it goes down. Also, shout out to Shinsuke Nakamura for just being so amazing with King Corbin's crown and just taking selfies with it while he's, driving in a car and out to places, and even taking a selfie with his cat while in the crown. That one's my favorite. And also when he came out to the ring to beat Corbin again, which he did, he had Rick Boogs playing his theme song on a electric Flying V guitar. And yeah, Shinsuke can do a lot with this. And I hope they let him do a lot with this. Come on, WWE. This is the time. I mean, it's always been the time to really push Shinsuke and, capitalize on him being so awesome. But I mean, this is like golden platinum time right now. So do it. And the main event was the Intercontinental Championship 4-way between Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Apollo Crews, and Big E. And it was, of course, chaos all over the place and just really showing the Intercontinental title very well. But then the end, Big E had the big ending on Apollo Crews and was about to get his title back when all of a sudden the lights went dark and out came Aleister Black, who had another Tales from the Dark Father segment earlier in the episode where he pretty much just showed off his tattoos. And Aleister Black came out to no music, so we don't know, even though it'd be cool if it was his old "No man has ever truly good. No man has ever truly evil." It'd be nice they brought back that old theme, but I'm kind of open to new themes right now. And he came out, he hit Big E with a black mass, and then Apollo Crews covered him for the 1, 2, 3. He is still Intercontinental Champion, and Aleister Black is back in black mass. And on that note, that's the 1, 2, 3. Thanks for locking up with me in the Ring of Thunder. Kick butts, not nuts.
Welcome to Dr. Geek's Laboratory.
Hello everyone, Dr. Geek here with a shout out to all the scientists who worked tirelessly to bring a COVID-19 vaccine into reality. Let's face it, creating something of this magnitude is a miracle worthy of Dr. McCoy himself. And now, Dr. Geek needs you to do your part. Remember, each shot is one small step back to normal, one giant leap to putting the pandemic behind us. We can do this. For more information, visit vaccines.gov to find your nearest provider.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.